So in today's video we're going to be talking about the M3 versus the M6. Let's get the M6 out. What I'm wearing here is the photo vest. Very important. In the olden days people used to wear the photo vest all the time to photo expeditions. This is something for you to keep in mind, that you can wear those photo vests right now as well. They're coming into style right now, and you can get one of those anywhere you actually want. Now, the good thing about photo vest is that you can get everything out a lot faster. So back then it used to be film, and you have to get a lot of film, batteries, and everything else. So that's why they were wearing photo vests. But today you can put your cell phone, you can put some other gear, you can put extra batteries, memory cards, and so on, just as well. It is just as effective. You also should have something like this right here, where you store your camera gear into. So a bag like this is very essential, and this is for the M6. The M6 gets its own location. So the comparison between the M6 and the M3, both of which I have right now. Why do I have two of them? Will be your first question. Well, obviously because I'm trying to get rid of the M3 and getting the M6. So you definitely have to get one camera before you get rid of the other one. Well, another thing I'm going to be doing is photo shooting, model shooting with both of them. And whichever one is better is the one I'm probably going to be keeping. Definitely, I probably will be getting the M6. Now, for all of you viewers who do enjoy this, there's going to be a special offer right down below. You can get a hold of my model photography class. This is part 1. There's going to be definitely a part 2 of this. And by going down below, or of course I'm just going to keep adding more to that class. I haven't decided yet. Now, this is all for free. You don't have to pay anything. There's going to be a link right down below, and the first 100 people to take into this offer are going to get in for free. If you enjoyed this class and you want to get into Skillshare, there's going to be 2 months free. You can try out any class of mine, including thousands of other classes by other photography and other instructors over there as well. So make sure you take this offer, because it is exclusive and it's going to end in 2 months after you start. Then you have to pay, which is like a few bucks every single month if you decide to continue enjoying more educational classes. With that said, let's continue with the show. Welcome aboard. This is the Geek Man Show, and I'm the Geek Man. Thank you for coming to my show. Now, we have 2 different cameras right here. We're going to go into hands-on models as well. What I mean hands-on, you're going to see the comparison side by side of both of those cameras, and you're going to see how they feel and look. But we are going to be doing this next, not right now. Let me put on my sunglasses off. No need for that. Time to get serious, of course. And let's talk about cameras. So the M6 is nearly identical to the M3. There's almost nothing different between them, except a little bit better processor, and you probably read all the specs about them, so I'm not going to be boring you out with that. Shooting experience, aerodynamics, weight, this is important. Now, they're almost the same weight, they're almost identical size. This is an M6, it's a little bit bigger. Why did I get the M6? The M6 is faster, it focuses better, and with the extension that I got right here, well, you can get this extension where you can use any of your lenses, and I put my 50mm right here. It is much faster as well. So on the M3 it was hunting, the focus was constantly hunting, and with the M6 this is no longer the case. Now, why did I get the M6 versus other cameras? Well, one thing is the flip screen. So we have one M5 and it was having the flip screen going on the bottom, which is totally useless if you use a tripod. Another one was going on this side, which is great. I mean, I wish this one was going on this side. I don't know why Canon didn't actually do that. That would be like the ultimate camera here. But this would have been great. But there's only one problem with that camera that goes on this side. It is a little bit cheaper than the M6. The M50 is not as good as the M6 when it comes to build quality. What the M50 does have that the M6 does not have is, well, it has a better, kind of better flash, not really, but there's a few pokes between both of those cameras. Also, the video mode is actually better on the M50, but the M6 is much cheaper. Lots of choices here, my friends. One of the deal breakers and why I like the M6 kind of better is that it has this dial on the top, so you can turn on or off how much exposure you actually want, and I constantly use this feature. And the M50 just, and the M5, the M50 actually has it, but the M5 does not. So that's one of the things, and the M50 would be the perfect camera in every aspect. The only thing they got wrong is the viewfinder. The viewfinder, they messed up big time with it by going it down, and I really wish that they fixed that one issue that would have made me really want to get the M50 over the M6. But if you don't care about the viewfinder going upside down, you don't want to use a tripod, then definitely go ahead and knock yourself out and get the M50. So I do like the M6. I like how small it is. I like that it doesn't have a viewfinder and it doesn't have an electronic viewfinder. You can actually add and pay extra for the electronic viewfinder, which I don't really use that much. The problem with the electronic viewfinder is it is electronic. It is just like this, but you get your eye really super tired if you're going to be using the electronic viewfinder constantly. And of course, I mean, I would rather have not electronic, analog viewfinder. But we can't have an analog viewfinder on a digital mirrorless camera because there is no mirror here, which means you're only stuck with electronic viewfinders, which makes it useless for me. I don't like the electronic viewfinders. Unless, of course, yes, you need to get this picture. You need to really look in that and take a picture of it. If this is the case, you really need to do this, might as well get a DSLR. Practically speaking. The only reason I got this one is size-wise. Look how small this thing is. It is so small. You can fit it almost in your pocket. Almost. No, not really, but almost. But there we go. We have both of those cameras. We have the M3. We have the M6. I don't know if you can even tell which is the M3, which one is the M6. The M6 is the better looking one because it's actually has a little bit metallic things in it. And I'll have to go into it and show you hands-on so you can see it. So before we get into hands-on stuff, well, you actually see comparison side by side with every one of those. I want to tell you that with both of those cameras, one thing that everybody always misses and don't get the point is the filters. A lot of times you think those are cheap cameras and the lenses are cheap. Why do you need the filter? Well, it protects your lens, first of all, from getting hit. That's one thing. Two, those filters, the UV filter, this is the only filter you actually need to buy. If you're ever buying a filter, just buy the UV one. You shouldn't invest in quality filters for one of those cameras. This is not a top level DSLR. And if you're not spending any more than $500 per lens, which was spending like 300 or so, there is no need for you to buy the most expensive filters money can afford. Just buy any UV filter. Now, here's the big key here. This is something for you to remember for the rest of your life. Very important. When you screw those filters on, don't ever over tighten them. Especially the cheap filters. They are known for one problem. And the biggest problem is once you screw them on way too much, you apply too much force, they get stuck right on this forever. You won't be able to wrap it out. You won't be able to get it out, no matter what. And if this happens, you're killing this lens because let's say you want to switch it to another one, or let's say you got something dirty inside, you want to get it in, you won't be able to. It's going to be just stuck in there forever. So keep this in mind. This is something that only happens with super cheap filters. And it can happen to you. It can even happen with expensive filters too. I haven't seen it really happen with expensive filters, but I see people make sure this is super protected, screw them in so tight, and they can't get it out. And it is an issue. Now this one has this thing in here. You know what this is? Well, this is to put in the special adapter to put in any of your Canon lens on it. You can get Canon lens from the 1990s. I mean, Canon gives you the possibility of getting any Canon lens you actually want, and you can post it right in here. With this filter, you can post hundreds, I don't know, maybe even thousands of different Canon lenses right on this incompatible lenses with Canon, and take pictures with it. It is amazing that you can put this on the M camera. So this practically gives you new life to all your lenses, and I like it. Now, did I spend money on getting the one for like almost 150 bucks? No, I got the one for 40 bucks. It works just as well. This is not Canon brand. I usually get everything Canon brand, and this is one of those few occasions where I decided, why should I? I mean, there's no reason for me. I'm only using one 50mm prime lens, and that's it. And the pictures are just amazing. So, with that said, M6, totally recommend it. I love it. If you love the M3, you love the M6. The M6 is so much better. And now let's get into the video where I'm going to be comparing the M3 and the M6 side by side, and you can actually see how they feel in your hand, which are the dials, and everything else about this. This is why you probably came in to see. This is what I love to actually do. I don't want to bore you with the specs because you probably can get those specs anywhere. But can you see them side by side comparison? Probably not. So let's see and watch that. And of course, if you have any questions, please post them below. If you love this channel, please subscribe to it. And let me know what you think of this stupid new format. Anyways, great day, and see you in the next video. So let's explore the difference between the M3 and M6. They look almost the same, nearly identical to each other. So what are the differences and which one should you pick? Obviously I went through some of it before, and I want to show you a few other differences between them as well. So let's zoom in more and more close, and here you can tell a few bigger differences between them. The quick wheel itself is a little different between both of them. This one has the C1 and C2, and this one does not. So a few extra quicks for you. C1, C2 just stands for extra things that you can do here, and you can just remember them. So it is a creative mode where you can memorize certain settings on the camera, and you can just fast use it up. This wheel is much harder for you to move than the previous one, a little bit harder, maybe because it's brand new. Other than that, the plus and minus is all the way at the top, one of my favorite features in here. A few other differences, and you can tell right away, is the on and off button. Previously you had the on and off right here, which wasn't so great, which meant that you can accidentally maybe click on it. It was a little recessed, so it was pretty hard for you to accidentally click on it, but still it was right between all those three buttons right here. It wasn't one of the brightest ideas, Canon. But then we have this one right here, which is a switch. Now this switch is not the best of switches, because for you to get this switch to actually work, you gotta go ahead and move it, and it doesn't actually move very easily. So you can't accidentally flick this, and to turn it off it's going to take you a little bit of effort. It's not much, but still, maybe it's much better than here. The top of this also looks a little different as well. So previous top was just black, this one is, it's still dark, but it looks a lot more sophisticated. Now when you put them right here face to face, you don't see much difference except this right here. You have the grip, and the grip goes all around the camera on the M6. The M3 didn't have this grip, it was just right here. So it's great to see this grip going through this entire body of the camera, and it is much better for you to hold now because it's all over the whole entire camera now. So this is a great modification that they did, including all the way in the back. The whole grip is all over the place. Talking about the back here, there's a big difference between where the location of the on and off movie button actually existed. This was a terrible idea, by the way. because if I wanted to go and turn this on when I'm taking my own videos, I would have to go back and try to find it. And I always was trying to hunt for it and I couldn't find where it was, because it was just in this very bad location. So now they moved it to slightly better location, which is on the bottom. So you can feel this mountain right here, or this little hill, and then right under it there is the button right there. It is slightly better idea, but still I wish they put it right here. This would be the ideal place for this button that we access really a lot as photographers. There is only very slight bodily changes between both of them, including one of the most annoying changes in here, which is this. Interesting enough, this was the biggest change that I found. So the previous version of all Canon cameras used this mechanism to tie up your camera to, which, I mean, until you figured out how to do it, it was still a pain, but it was manageable. Now, the new way of doing it is the following. Not only I had to check inside the book how to figure this out, this was a lot harder to figure out initially, but at the end it gives it a lot more flexibility, and it seems to be a lot more steady as well. I don't know why they switched to this idea, but it's not really a bad thing. I mean, this was just a little bit different, and the body movement is totally different than with this. It gives you really better flexibility. Unfortunately, you can only use this specific thing to it, so it has to be the Canon supplied version of this cable. If something happens to this cable, you gotta buy a different kind of cable. Like, let's say this cable gets dirty, you gotta buy this special one that goes right here. That's a big bummer, by the way. So that's gonna be a big plus, I mean a big minus to this. And can you actually get the same one that they used to make? Yes, but this is the issue right here, is this specific part right here, and that part is not sold separately. So if this thing gets damaged or anything happens to it, you gotta get this whole entire strip just to replace it. This might be a big deal for most people. That's like a minor inconvenience that makes no difference whatsoever. Now, a few other differences, and not much by the actual body itself, which looks almost identical, but with the shooting power of this camera. When I used the ES, and this is the special EF mode, and this is the PhotoDix version, this specific mode for this is the one that you're getting with the mount itself. So if you're getting a camera mount, you can get the Canon version, or you can get this specific mount right here. And when I was using it with the M3, it was just terrible. The focusing was really slow, I was having issues, and the M6 doesn't have any issues with this. So I thought initially maybe because I bought the aftermarket one, not from Canon, it was giving me issues. The real reason was the camera body just couldn't handle it. That's what it was. It was having problems focusing, so it probably would have had the same exact issue even if this was a Canon blend. Maybe, I'm not too sure, but it doesn't seem to have this issue at all with the M6, so that's good. Everything else is nearly identical, almost the same thing between both cameras, and if you're getting it, it's really a minor upgrade, really minor. The only reason why I got this, it shoots faster, it focuses faster, and it does a little bit better videos. So it is a worthy upgrade to the M3 version that I had before, and I end up not using the M3 this much just because it was having focus issues so much that I have decided why not just get the M6 and it's gonna solve all those issues, and I would just be using it more. And the answer is yes, now I'm using it so much more because now it solved the focus problem, it solved a lot of issues that I was having with the M3. So M6 really is almost is the perfect mirrorless camera, and for the cheapest possible price that is out there.
Is it the perfect camera out there? It's not the perfect one, but definitely is one of the best ones that Canon actually makes when it comes to mirrorless, and at a very decent price that you can get yourself. And the last one, the last mode that I wasn't telling you about, and something that probably you would notice right away, is how recessed it actually is. So this wheel right here is recessed a little bit higher than the previous mode, but this one is super high up, the plus and minus one. Versus in the previous M3, everything is actually recessed a lot. So that is a bigger difference between the plus when it comes to the camera bodies, and the M3 is a little bit small when it comes to the width, like this. With the M6, it's a little bit bigger. Not much of a big difference between the two, but if you can look, you might be able to tell that it is a little bit slightly bigger than the other one. Especially, I mean, you can't really tell. It's like, it's so small, but you will still be able to tell that it's a little bit of a bigger camera, just a little bit. It's not going to make that much of a difference, but it will make a bunch of a difference if you're looking for the smallest size possible of a camera. And if you are, this shouldn't be the camera that you should be getting. You should be getting the G7X or G9X instead. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel and see you in the next one.